Excuse me, y'all, while I'm feeling the full weight of this chain. One thing's for sure about today's episode, Jonathan Frakes knows exactly what the fans of this franchise want. There's a little something for everyone. And if you'd like to know how this may be one of the most important episodes of the season, just keep watching. What's up, Trek Nation, and welcome back to After the Snap. I am your host, Tasha Pierce, and this week's episode is The Sanctuary. It was written by Kenneth Lynn and Brandon Schultz, and of course, it was directed by the great Jonathan Frakes. Let's get the synopsis. Burnham and the USS Discovery Crew travel to Book's home planet to help rescue it from Osyraa. Meanwhile, Stamets and Adira continue their search for valuable info on the origin of the burn. This week we open with that highly circulated piece of footage that was made into a teaser that was between Georgiou and Culber. Now, what was interesting was Georgiou's demeanor towards Burnham in these scenes. Either Burnham is the attacker in Georgiou's visions, or Georgiou is pissed that she is so attached to Burnham. Either way, I'm very intrigued about her story arc and where she's going this season. So now we know Book's planet is in trouble, and he implores Burnham to take him home. Just wants to go home. Now Michael does something that she hasn't done all season long. She took the problem to Saru and Admiral Vance. By the way, have I told you lately how big a piece of scum I believe that Admiral Vance is? Like how he wasn't at all surprised by the plight of Book's planet? And he said the chain made Prime Directive violations in art form. So are they part of Starfleet? Why would they follow the Prime Directive if they are a crime organization? And how he said, jump away if Discovery is in danger. Not the crew, not the planet, just the ship. I'm telling you, Vance is garbage until somebody convinces me otherwise. And then we met Osyraa. And I'm not impressed by her ruthlessness as long as Emperor Georgiou is still on Discovery. Yeah, she killed her nephew, but technically we all wanted to see him die anyways. And we see a kind of progression of Burnham and Book's relationship. And it seems unforced, organic, earned. Unlike that situation that Burnham was in with what's his name, this one seems real. And they're heading to Quajon, which is Book's homeworld, to answer a call from Book's brother from another mother, who is estranged from Cleveland because he made a deal with the devil. In order to free the planet from a sea locust plague in a humane manner, they dealt away the planet's transworms, which are now being enslaved by the Emerald Chain and used as a torture and execution device. But it's this brother who Book hasn't spoken to in, say, 15 years, who's calling and saying, hey, the planet needs help. And I'm looking at all of this kind of suspect. Like, Book, I know this is your brother. I know this is somebody that you love. But do you trust him? Do you trust him? And while all this is going on, Adira and Stamets are working on the burn data, and they have come up with the origin of the burn. The Verubin Nebula is the origin of the burn. It is marked by intense radiation and unstable electromagnetic fields. Now, that music that we're hearing across all of these episodes is a signal buried deep in the midst of that nebula. What we find out after Saru noticed something with his enhanced senses is that there is a Federation distress signal hidden beneath that music in that nebula. What ship do we know? What Federation ship do we know that's hidden in a nebula? I'll take a show of hands if anybody knows what Federation starship is hidden in a nebula that we know of. Would that be Discovery 1031 without the A? Yeah, I think that might be Discovery. Now, How? I have not worked out in my mind at all. This was just one of those things that I thought as soon as they said Nebula and Federation distress signal. So we'll see how that works out. After sharing this news with Saru and First Officer Tilly, and I just like saying that, Adira tells Stamets about their gender identity and also confides that Gray is MIA. Now they can feel him, but there has been no communication between the two. And I literally had to rewrite this twice and re-say it twice because I struggle with non-binary pronouns. So if I mess up, please kindly correct me because I truly do want to respect a person's wishes to be properly identified. So charge it to the head and not the heart, but I am making a very, very strong effort with the they, them pronouns. Moving along. Detmer is still getting used to the new tech, and she's also second guessing herself. She had engineering add fail-safes to her helm interface as the latest tactic to make sure she doesn't F up. But I love where her story goes later in this episode. Yeah. The whole bridge where Captain Saru hits them with his new catchphrase, executes. Other suggestions were hit it, already taken, and manifest, which I personally dig. I like the thought of manifesting, but I'm not the captain of the USS Discovery. Moving along. Just for one moment there, I thought we were going to get Stamets to sing for us, because we know that he is an acclaimed Broadway performer. He performed in Rent, and he also performed in the film version of that, but I digress. In this scene, he's accompanying Adira on her cello, and he's playing the piano. Now, Adira tells him about the challenges of being a host to a symbiont. We've heard how difficult it could be to an untrained Trill from Ezri Dax when she received a symbiont that she had not trained to receive. Imagine how much more difficult it would be to be a human child receiving a symbiont and getting all of this information and all of these personalities and all of these prior hosts all at once. So they're giving us the confusion of a teenager whose body is changing, and Stamets is like a parent figure who is accepting and understanding of what this teen is going through. Papa Stamets, anyone. Now, Tilly checking Ren was everything to me. Everything. Because first of all, Ren walked on in the ready room like he owned Discovery. Talking about how he want to see the captain, blah, blah, blah. And Tilly checked him swiftly. I'm starting to like this assertive Tilly. It can become a little bit like, where was this at before? But at the same time, I like how she's stepping into her role. Now, the fact that the actor under that blue paint is her real life husband just makes it even more natural. Yes, and I wish I could remember her husband's name. I can't, and I did not write it down because Tasha. So, but that's her husband, the actor who's playing Ren, and I like it. I like the fact that he's there, and he's not there to just to further her along. He's there because he is an integral part of the story. And we also get a sense of that Andorian indebtedness. We saw Shran continuously attempting to even the score with Archer and Enterprise, and we're seeing it here with Ren on a far less aggressive level. Now I'm going to speed through this section. We get the obligatory tension between Book and his brother, the arrival of Osyraa on the Viridian and her attack on the planet, and Tilly suggesting that Discovery stay out of the fight, technically. But they sent Detmer, Ren, and Grudge in Book's ship. And what the hell is Grudge? But anyway, they sent Detmer, Wren, and Grudge in book ship to disable the Viridian's weapons array. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the highlight of this episode. Detmer piloting a ship she's never even been in like a boss. When she went manual and performed some Millennium Falcon type maneuvers, I was on my feet. I literally was on my feet. Tom Paris ain't got nothing on Detmer. She saved the day. She faced her fears and she helped Wren realize that he's a badass for surviving what he had been through after standing up to Osyraa. Damn, she had a story to tell in that mess hall. So not only did we get a lot of Detmer today, we got to see Bryce do some shit on communications. We got to see Reese and Nielsen talk. Owusakan, she does I am in awe of something so well. Every time she has to be like in awe of anything, gosh, she looks like a little kid on Christmas every single time. They're communicating. So I thought it was just dope. Owusakan, Bryce, Reese, Nielsen, everybody got a line in the heat of the battle. Everybody got a line. In, like not just one line, like more than one line, something that made them alive in those moments. So kudos. I'm starting to see some personality come out of this crew. It's Star Trek, and I said I was gonna gloss over all those fights, but how? Burnham and Book make a hell of a killer couple in combat. Book and his brother fighting, and Burnham holding the phase rifle just in case things get out of hand. Man, that's what Jonathan Frakes gives us. Beautiful space battles, heavy hand-to-hand combat sequences. I think we need to give the GOAT a round of applause. We just need to clap for Jonathan Frakes because he brought us another stellar episode of Star Trek. Now, punk-ass Osyraa quit after Detmer gave her the business. Now, she promised, though, that the Federation would feel the full weight of the chain. Bling, bling. How, Osyraa? How are you going to force the Federation to feel the full weight of the chain? Because Wren told us, well, really he told Tilly, but Tilly and us, that you're running low on dilithium. You can't fight if you can't fly. And this is why the Emerald Chain cannot be the big bad of this season of Discovery. One ship disabled her heavily armed behemoth of a ship. A ship piloted by Detmer, who had never flown this ship before in her life. She had no idea the capabilities of the ship. The only thing she knew how to do was pilot it. She disabled your big ass ship. You can't be the baddest bitch in the galaxy as long as Detmer is flying Discovery. Now, if not the chain, if the chain is not the big bad, then who? The effing Federation. That's who. And I'm going to provide proofs to my hypothesis in an upcoming video. Stamets and Culber make wonderful parents. I love to see how they were beaming over Adira while they were asleep. Book and Burnham are a believable couple. And Book wants to stay on disco. Hate to say I told you so. We'll be fitting them for that uniform soon enough. I love it. So, how many lights do I see in this episode? There are 3 lights. Last week was 4. I forgot to include the light rating in last week's episode. This week's 3 lights are because we got some classic Trek vibes, some movement on character arcs, and an intro to the Emerald Chains Osyraa. And also, I'm very excited give it a 3 because it's a setup episode. It sets up the rest of the season, the rest of the beats for these characters that we saw get a little more depth this week. Booker and Burnham, Detmer, Giorgio. And we see next week, looks Giorgio heavy. Looks Giorgio heavy. Where the hell is Reno? I haven't seen her in ages. Comment below with your thoughts on the Sanctuary and tell me if Osyraa lived up to the hype. Look out for my upcoming video on Giorgio, another one on why I believe the Federation is trash, and of course the weekly Discovery recap. And if you haven't become a member of a tribe called Trek, please consider hitting subscribe and notification bell. Hit that as well for more Trek and other geek content. And with that, I've got nothing else. So thank you for watching and live long and prosper. Peace.